Driving in the dark and broken down vehicles on that same road is one thing that you will forever want to avoid in your life. That was the case of the bus that was carrying players of the Kumasi Asante Kotoko football club. Very tragic incident there. So today we'll be having a discussion about road carnage. We know that it remains a major concern to Ghanaians, especially road users. We've identified and disciplined drunk driving as well as wrongful overtaking as part of the reasons that's accounting for the increase in carnage on our roads. The Motor Traffic Transport Department in the last 6 months have arrested about 1,786 drivers for various traffic offences. Director in charge of research and education at the MTTD, Alexander Obeng, has been speaking earlier on News Desk, and he's saying that they are putting measures in place to clamp down on irresponsible driving. You could say that this is a line we've heard over and over again, but well, let's listen to him. When we return, we'll have a conversation about this.
Better policing, not in terms only of deploying a trained police officer to be lined up on our road corridors, but that also training a compliant driver who self-comply, who use the discretion and understand the nocturnal driving and diurnal driving, so that the driver will be defensive in nature. And we expect also that the vehicle owner should be policing. In other words,
but you see, policing is a specific job that is given to a specific group of people.
I was underlying. No, policing is a shared and collective responsibility, particularly in terms of road management. And that's what I'm saying, that the owner has a responsibility of maintenance. And maintenance is policing your vehicle to ensure vehicular safety. And that alone will ensure that the vehicle cannot cause a crash and it will be attributable to a mechanical failure when the tires are okay.
Okay, so we are talking about the majority causes being speeding.
I will come to.
Yeah, for the sake of time.
For example, with regard to the former policing on our road, we have here, for example, we have arrested 1,786 Ghanaians, most of whom were overspeeding, have overloaded their vehicles, were drunk and were driving, were driving with vehicles that had very bad and substandard tires.
Over what period?
What half year? That's what I'm giving.
So that half year.
Yes. This year, I'll give you a brief.
In what area?
Ghana.
Across the country.
And we have those who were driving as untrained persons, otherwise called unlicensed persons, and there were those who were using vehicles that had expired document. In other words, the vehicles were not roadworthy enough. The maintenance was below what is expected. And we have motor riders who are not riding with helmets. They have not protected themselves. And we also have drivers who were driving with mobile phones on and were not in seat belts, among others.
So this seems like a small number for an entire. I mean, we are over 26 million Ghanaians and we catch 1,786.
Oh, no, we didn't.
All traffic offences for 6 months.
That is what we have done so far for 6 months. And out of these, 2 are in jail. The rest have been slapped with court fines amounting to 628,157. All that I was just trying to say to underline the traditional traffic police officer, the work that he's doing to ensure that the owner and the driver also do their bit in terms of policing.
Kombako side apakeno. No ma pakeo e kwan on pakeo kwan mu nso a o kona na oja ne side e o kwan mfinfi. Tie bi aka bi throw lighter unhu because of say we share opponent ninti oni be ba so na why dem na to car na wi so and I do driving no problems are.
So he's saying that he has problems with some traders as well as the charcoal drivers, those who use big trucks and sell charcoal. They usually park in the middle of the road, and by the time they are finished dodging that particular one, if they are not careful, they just have head-on collision with some other drivers from the opposite direction. But I want to find out from you, if you say traders, what exactly about traders?
Traders no,
what do they do? Traders in a den no more.
omo pake o kwan bi a o tutai bi a fort na wanya if say ko wanya fort na obekọ nchen tem no aja si ho no ma.
All right, he's still talking about the drivers with big trucks who sell charcoal, but he made a point about traders. Now, oh, trailers, you mean trailers. Okay, so the trailers leave their cars in the middle. Okay, but apart from that, what other challenges do you face?
Apart from that, I don't have any problem.
So that's for the Accra-Kumasi Road?
Yeah.
All right, I have another driver here with me. Hello, sir. Good morning. Welcome to JoyNews.
Thank you.
What's your name, sir?
Patrick Obeng.
Patrick Obeng. Where do you usually travel to?
Accra, Kumasi, Techiman, Wa.
What are the main challenges?
The challenges we have, we normally have it on the road is the road markings and the road signs. And my brother has already said it all. Normally when they go to the road, maybe they have fault. They can't even have this thing, warning triangles to indicate that they have a fault or something like that. But normally, it depends on how the tracks are. Maybe there's no reflectors, there's no backlights, there's no trafficator lights. You can't even see anything that there is something will indicate you that there is a fault or something like that. That's challenges we normally have on the road about the trailers.
So your main problems are with the trailers. Have you had any accident or a near accident because of the trailers?
We normally see what happens on the way. Maybe the driver will have a problem that maybe he have problem on the way, to maybe indicate that there is a fault in the car or something like that. He will never do that. So every time it depends on how they how they will do about the road. It depends on them.
So this seems to be a big problem for the drivers here. Your colleague just spoke about it. You are also talking about it. How do you think we can deal with this?
It will be better that we may have some track. When somebody gets a fault, he will move the car from the road so that the road can be free, so that everybody can do whatever you want to use the road for.
Some others have also spoken about potholes on the road, and because there are no lights, they find it difficult to see them ahead of time and dodge. Have you had any experiences like that?
Yes, we have. That's why the road is very dark, and normally when the road marks is there, your light will reflect on the road marks then, so that you can see that, oh, this car is coming, or this is the way you must to park, or you must to even use it. So that's the problem we normally have. So when the road mark is there, and how do you call it? When the road mark is, they do the road mark and the warning triangles and how do you call it? The road,
directional signs, you mean?
Yeah. That's what I want to talk about.
Beatrice, to do with some of the drivers who ply the Accra-Kumasi route there. Earlier was the man in charge of the MTTD. You've heard him, and we've heard him speak a lot of times. The number of people they've arrested, etc. So far, it appears to me that you have to be responsible for your own safety on the road, because there probably won't be any suggestions, any solutions from the National Road Safety Commission, as you may think that you need. Well, in the studio with me is Nana Anoami here. He is president of the Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals. He's also chairman of the Road Safety Advocates Ghana. So he's got a few ideas, tips to give you as you drive on the roads. Well, since we're not sure whether or not there'll be any broken down vehicles ahead of us, whether there'll be light on the roads on which we drive. Nana, you're welcome to the studio, by the way.
Thank you.
Now, you have some very interesting stuff in front of you.
Yes.
To give us a few tips about how to drive safely, or how to practice defensive driving, as we call it here. Take us through it.
Well, we have this to represent the U-turn bus. We're trying to talk about the incident that took the life of a Kotoko,
equipment officer.
Equipment officer.
Yes.
Today I'm in red. You know, it's solidarity with Kotoko because I'm an avid Kotoko supporter, and also it's Zima Kotoko and Asante Kotoko.
Okay.
So really,
right.
That's why
So you're going to use this scene to represent that.
So let's say this is the Kia truck.
Okay, the Kia truck that had the rice in it.
Was it fertilizer?
Oh, fertilizer, they say. Okay.
Yes. Now, most times, the carnage we have on our road is as a result of unsafe road conditions, and then also majority of them is driver human error.
Okay.
So if you're looking at the human error and also lack of enforcement from the MTTD, I bet, I don't want to say my bottom dollar, but sorry, I said it already.
You said it already, indeed. You now, bet your bottom dollar, you said.
Okay. This Kia truck that was crawling on the road, doing 20 kilometers an hour, we are told, may not have even had taillights in the middle of the night when you're on the traffic flow on the trunk road. When this U-turn bus, which invariably in the night,
which is carrying the Kotoko players.
In the night, probably I'm sure it will be doing about between 120, 160 kilometers an hour on the, because clear traffic, no no whatever inhibitions, so you just put the foot down and driving on the clear road. So what I find that the lack of lane discipline in this country was also contribute to some of the crashes we get on our roads. Invariably, as a universal traffic rule, whenever you're driving on the road, if it's a single carriage, you must always drive to the right, the curb, the right hand side. I mean, this is a single file. This one is going, coming here, and this is going, and you have a center line marking.
Right.
Okay. So this truck, when it's going the opposite direction, should imagine this. My iPad is there. Is a curb.
Right.
You should be driving as close to the curb as possible.
Well, this is what you say. Drive as close to the shoulder of the road, like we say.
Yes, the shoulder or curb. The shoulder is more on the motorway when we use the shoulder, and then on the single carriage you have the curb. On the urban roads you have the curb. So if you drive as close as to the curb, and then the center line marking, at least there is space there.
So you should be far away from the center line marking as possible.
As possible, closest to the shoulder or to the curb.
Right.
So this vehicle going out there, I mean, the way, we were told, that carriage was dualized. It was not single carriage. Yeah. It was dualized. So it means that it was going on this lane, and this U-turn bus was also going on another lane. But this one was here in the what do you call it?
Let's say in the outer lane.
Outer lane, and this was in the inner lane. So apparently, for some reason, it was going uphill. That section of the road was uphill. Okay. Now, so this U-turn bus, who was doing at least minimum of about 120, 140 kilometers, and this one, who was going uphill and overladen, probably doing about 20 kilometers an hour. So you may even think that it's a stationary vehicle. Yeah. Okay. So this U-turn bus doing about 120, 140, all of a sudden veered into the lane.
The outer lane.
The outer lane of where the Kia truck was. And of course, that resulted in the conflict. That brought about the accident. The crash.
So per what you're saying, assuming this guy was a bit closer to the curb.
Yes.
And this was a bit closer to the curb as well, it will still result in the accident.
No, in that incident, it was a dual carriageway, so that's not the situation. I was talking generally.
Oh, generally.
How when we are driving on a single carriage road, where we should drive closest to the curb, and this will also drive closest to the curb.
Could this have ever been prevented? I mean, the situation where you have this right behind that, could this have ever been prevented?
Now, what I see, on the general flow, the road to Kumasi is a trunk road. Let's say our high road. It's not dualized, but it's our high road. So the speed on that carriage is about 100 kilometers an hour. Now, where we have a Kia truck doing 20 kilometers an hour, it doesn't mix with that traffic flow.
Yes, but that's the situation,
Yeah,
and it's not the driver. Let's say it's not the driver's fault. The vehicle decides to break down, or it can't move at fast pace. So, what do you do?
No, so why can't it move at fast pace? Because the traffic flow. I talked about the traffic flow. If you mix a traffic of 100 kilometers an hour, and if you mix a traffic of 20 kilometers an hour, there will be a conflict. Because they don't mix.
Right.
If you get what I'm trying to say. Okay. They don't mix. So at least if this vehicle was doing, let's say, 50, 60 kilometers an hour, it would have given whatever the error
but
was.
But have had enough space to, let's say, stop.
Yes, for the braking distance.
You realize that there's a vehicle.
Yes, a vehicle.
So in that case, what is the advice that you give if you are to encounter such a situation? What then would be the advice?
No, there are so many myriad of issues that need to be attended to. We have the unsafe road conditions. We have the inspection, DVLA. This DVLA up their game, and they inspect all these vehicles and ensure they have over 250 checklists to make a vehicle roadworthy. If they go through that rigorously, these rickety vehicles that you have on the road, imagine a vehicle like that may not have taillights. Taillights is very, very important.
Would have been enough to signal
to enough reflection
the bus.
Yes, whether the driver was sleeping or whatever, that there would have been something there to show that, or to advert his mind to it that there's a vehicle in front of him. But if all of a sudden he's confronted with a vehicle that was doing 20 kilometers an hour, crawling like a crab, then of course the braking distance, especially carrying so many passengers, if the word is braking distance, is very key.
Right.
So if you're doing, let's say, 50 kilometers an hour, and within 10 feet, something crosses you, you have no way of stopping. The braking distance is calculated when you're doing, in the urban environment, when you're doing 50 kilometers an hour, you are allowed at least a minimum of 35 to 40 feet braking distance.
Right.
But if you do not have that 35 or 40 feet braking distance, then there's a likelihood that if something crosses you, you will not be able to stop. Let me give you an instance.
So give us your final, because of lack of time, give us your final words for people who are driving on the roads. I mean, we expect the National Road Safety Commission to do their bit. We expect the MTTD to do their bit. But for drivers, what will be the two key things that you tell them based on the analysis you've just done? Yeah,
but for drivers, I think I can only refer to the Kotoko situation that I've been briefed on. The fatigue. Fatigue is something that when you're fatigued, it creeps on you. Yeah. As you're driving, you may think, oh, okay, I've got only about 5 minutes. When I get to Nkoko, I will stop and rest, because there's no lay-by on our roads for rest stops.
Yeah.
So before you could say Jack, you are dozing off, and you need to doze off for only 5 seconds.
So don't drive fatigue.
Don't drive fatigue, and most of the time, the commercial drivers, a lot of them, they take alcohol beyond. I mean, it's only Ghana that you can be as drunk as a fish and sit behind your driving.
Really, you will still be arrested, except that anyway.
You will not be. Where are you going to be arrested?
And so, Nana, I want people to be clear in their minds what I mean. These are not things they don't know, but just so we refresh your minds about this, and so you be careful on the roads, that you keep, what do you call that again, braking distance. You keep the braking distance.
Yes, you keep the braking distance. So
you don't drive fatigue.
You don't drive fatigue. You don't drive drunk, and you must always keep your vehicle in roadworthy condition.
In roadworthy condition, and drive. If you're driving on a single carriage,
you must always. The universal rule is that you must always drive closest to the curb. Okay. So if you drive closest to the curb, because it's a single file,
and there's another vehicle that's coming on the other side. So
even if this one, there's enough space there, if you drive to the curb, this can
move the other way,
swerve round and avoid hitting you, your rear end.
At the back. Okay.
So it's always something that I had wanted to use the sprinters.
Yeah, we've just run out of time. So if we could just make that very brief.
Yes. The sprinters road, the carriage there. Yes. Usually the minimum lane width is about 3.65 meters for the lane. But unfortunately, Sprinters Road is about 5 meters.
Wide.
It's quite wide.
Right.
But instead of making it dual, they've made it single carriage, okay? and then the center lane is there. So when everybody, as I said earlier, everybody driving, instead of keeping to the right of the curb, they keep to the center, and then you get a long file of traffic on the Sprinters Road all the time.
Right.
So if everybody, this side move to this side, the other side move to, then you can have speeding vehicle able to pass them, or a trotros who want to stop and pick passengers and drop passengers. They'll be able to do that easily and allow the traffic to flow. But everybody in Ghana, like the motorway, Tema motorway,
wants to be in the middle.
I've taken my lane. You also take your lane.
Okay.
So don't hassle me when you are in the passing lane or overtaking lane. Okay. So this must be drivers must attention must be drawn to it and must be conscious of that.
We'll say a very big thanks to you, Nana. I'm sure that we've learned a thing or two. I mean, today, these are not like I'm saying.
We're going to talk about the disabled vehicles, but
yes, but unfortunately we've run out of time because very soon we'll be doing. We would have to do sports.
But and it's very, very important that you
touch on it briefly now.
No, the disabled vehicles already. The law. We went to Parliament last week, and the Select Committee. They were saying that the law is passed and it's cast in concrete, so it's left with the implementation. So as we as safety professionals, we've done our bit, and we believe that it's a good policy, and it should be implemented as soon as possible, so that we can avert most of these crashes that are as a result of disabled vehicles on the roads. So the policy is a good policy. We must all support it and bring it on stream as quickly as possible to avert all this carnage on our road. Okay,
Nana, Ghanaians have heard you. Nana Noami here, the second is president of the Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals, also chairman of Rail Safety Advocates there with a thing or two. So you have some tips on driving, even though you already know, I'm sure. This is just a refresher, so we prevent all of these avoidable deaths. And I thank you very much for the advice. Well, it was around 1 p.m. on Friday. An Israeli living in Ghana was parking his vehicle at a bus stop in East Legon. Two men approached him to tell him the rear tire of his car had deflated. As he stepped down to check, one of the men pointed a sharp object to his neck as the other made his way to pick a bag containing about 4,000 cedis from his car. Now, that is not the script for a Hollywood movie, but police account of how two men attempted robbing that Israeli. JoyNews' Maxwell Agbagba has been speaking with a taxi driver who chased and knocked off the two robbers who were boating on a motorbike.
I was from this junction coming to join the main road. When I saw a white man shouting, "They've taken my bag, they've taken my bag." And I saw a certain guy holding the bag on his neck. So, which bag are you shouting, "They've taken my bag"? And I saw the guy sit on the motor running. So before I get to the white man told, "They've taken his bag with his money." And I started to chase them. So I chased them, and I get close to them, and I knocked them down. So they tried to run away. So one of the helmets fell down. I picked one of the helmets. So as I ran to them, I get one, and I hit the helmet with his head, and then left the bag down. And I take the bag, and the other people started coming. Then they caught the guy. But the other one jumped the wall and ran away. But later on, the missing guys that at the top, they saw what is going on. And so they all ran after the guy, and they bring the guy before the police people came, and we'll send them to the police station. That's what happened.
So now tell me, which bus stop are we talking about? So where was the white man?
The white man was running after them.
No, where was he before?
He was in the car.
Okay.
Getting down to the middle of the road. He was standing at the middle of the road when I saw him shouting, "They've taken my bag, they've taken my bag." So he was parked the car here. The car was parked there.
Okay. What was he doing then?
I came to ask the white man, "What are you doing?" He said he got a message from his phone, and so he was checking what is happening. Before he realized, a certain guy knocked the door. "Master, your tie is coming down." So as he got down in the car to check the tie, they put the knife on his neck. And he says, "Open the back door." As you see the back door, other guy have taken the bag already. And then they ran away before the white man started chasing them. But other one is sitting on the motor waiting for the other guy for them to move. So that's all what I know.
You were coming from which side?
I was coming from the...
From that junction?
Yeah, from that junction there to enter the main road before I saw what is going on. So I tried to tell them, if these people are criminals, I'll kill them. I'll cut them. No matter what, they can't go. I'll kill them. So I chased them, but their motor is so slow and my car is moving faster than them. And I get close to them, knock them down.
Were you not scared that they were holding?
No. I'm not afraid of anything. They are just slim two guys, but if you look at my body and their body, we can fight. But this is not fight. But as they are, because of criminal, as the people are moving, as I knock them down, I know that by all means people will come. So I'm strong that time. That time I'm very strong.
You're not scared you could have
No. As I see that they are not holding gun, they are holding knife. I saw the knife. So as for knife there, it's my car, it's poor, and so how they look then, I'll fix my car. I'm a Ghanaian, so I'm working for Ghana. So I don't deserve anything big. Whatever they will give it to me, I like it.
So this happened around what time?
Exactly 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
How busy was this place before the weekend?
The traffic was blocked, and so there's no car coming. So the road is very quiet, as you can see. It's very quiet here. So you can't see you can't get any help from anyone. Lucky that I'm from that junction. If I'm not from that junction, like they'll run away.
The manager of a block factory very close to the crime scene has also been narrating how a police officer in Mufti unsuccessfully tried gunning down the robbers who attempted fleeing the scene after they were knocked down by the taxi driver.
Into a team say thief. And a taxi driver be a bano. A
man was shouting, thief, thief, thief. A taxi driver very close gave them a hot chase and hit them with his car. They took the motorbike and tried crossing to the other side of the road.
And a 207 also be cross over. It's in a one who and other guy Tintano or no do Ogruye. Into Ogruye no man or share Mufti Atareno or no shoot to no senka or the bono. It went to me, and other guy no wahano. Yachireno. It is no quite them beatings in their basso.
Another vehicle crossed them. One of them tried escaping. A police officer in Mufti tried unsuccessfully gunning down the one who was escaping.
And I'm a bano, Dinachi, and other quachino. And son and Crawford war. Hano area guys, and I sent a woman in the by.
We caught him behind a block factory very close to a school. Before some of the people living here came around, people were outraged that if a military officer was murdered without committing any crime,
if you say Nipana or Hano near Berese, so Suja Nibi a 1 year yet to me Conadia. Now we are where we are the end of the It's in a very in a Suja in a Pataya and Sana Yejano.
They would kill him since he committed the act and was caught in the process. It took the intervention of a soldier around to calm the mob.
Say Ebia Okuretu, until ordinary Nina Shena Spina said, Bro, Honing in no spino. Oh, so Unkuretu and Sano to me Roshino. And Sano to me Roshin and Crawford Buano, and I have found the bar.
Go for the fast. Hey, almost fast, but I'm going to blow this gun back up.
Maxwell Akbaba with that report. JoyNews is learning the police hire case deliberating a reward package for the 37-year-old driver for his heroic act. President Mahama in January 2016 rewarded a taxi driver who in a similar fashion helped to foil a robbery. Concerns have, however, been raised by some critics that rewarding such acts amounts to encouraging instant injustice. Government is going to devote 1% of GDP towards research and development. This and other initiatives are what the President Akufo-Addo-led administration has put in place to ensure science and technology is at the center of its development. Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, has been speaking at the 6th edition of the Innovation Prize for Africa event, which took place in Accra earlier today.
My ministry is implementing Cabinet's directives in many areas. One, to establish a Presidential Advisory Council on Science, Technology and Innovation. Two, we are drafting an STI bill to establish a national science, technology and innovation policy. We are also setting up an STI fund to finance research and development. Our president has promised to put science and technology at the center of his government. And he's going to devote 1% of GDP towards research and development. In an attempt to build a solid science and technology infrastructure, my ministry has established technical committees to work towards establishment of foundries and CNC machine tool centers that will assist innovators to transition their ideas from prototypes into industrial products. My ministry has established an incubation center at CSIR to provide facilities that the technology innovators need in order to scale up and pilot their innovations. The technologies are in the areas such as energy production, transportation, agriculture, road construction, waste management, security for both domestic and industrial purposes, and cyber security. Those innovations that prove to be of industrial potential will be supported to scale up and to commercialize.
Professor Frimpong Boateng there. At the same event, the CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, encouraged innovators in Africa to make it a point to register their innovations so they could get the intellectual property rights attached to them.
A lot of innovation happening on the African continent is informal and is not captured in the formal economies. So they do not appear in front of investors unless the investors go look for them. But we at GIPC, just this morning, I've asked that we actually put up a new Facebook page and a new Twitter account that would highlight innovations within our economy. I think that would be a great platform to showcase them. And I'll ask many of you to go out there and look out for these pages and these books. But beyond that is also the issue that we don't register our innovations. And I just got a little bit of statistics that I need to share with you that might trigger your interest a bit. In the Global Innovations Index by the World Intellectual Property Organization, the 3 best-ranked African countries are South Africa at number 57, Mauritius at number 64, and Kenya at number 80. South Africa, however, registered only 314 international patents. Kenya filed 11. In the same period, China filed 43,168. The USA filed 56,595. And Germany filed 18,315. So we still have a lot of work to do to bring in absorbing the innovation on the continent into the global world. Until we can actually get them to register, they will miss out on a big pool of resources that the world offers. So even as you are creating stuff, please, 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 and I think that is where MESTI, the ministry, is very important. The ministry is important in ensuring that a lot of these have the necessary intellectual property rights attached to them, because that is how we would actually put them on the global stage.
Gary Smith is next with sports on the Pulse.